The best way to tell somebody I love you is to put them in a position to make money, right? So if I'm putting people that in a position to make money every day, there's no higher form of loyalty that's going to come from that, but it truly comes from a place of, I don't care if you're more successful than me, where in industries, people don't want to see that.
He didn't wait for the seat at the table. He built the table. He flipped it into a trading desk and started teaching others how to eat. From the beaches of Huntington Beach, California, this next guest came up in an era where hip hop wasn't handed to you. You earned it. He hit the road young, toured with fake IDs, survived venues getting shot at, and still showed up and performed. That's not talent, that's character. He went on to release music alongside legends in the independent hip hop scene, collaborating with the likes of Daylight and King Lil G. Built a catalog that spans multiple projects and caught the attention of major hip hop outlets, including 247 who came to him for his perspective on the music business. But this man never stopped at one lane. While most artists were chasing the dream and chasing the streams, he was studying markets. He immersed himself in binary options, crypto, and NFT space, becoming a co-founder of the Meta Millionaire Society, one of the most talked about digital wealth education platforms during the Web3 boom. When that era ended, he didn't fold, he evolved. Today, he's the co-founder of 40 Keys, a live trading community built on one principle: no more fake gurus, real signals, real education, real results in crypto and Forex for traders at every level. A musician, a market student, an entrepreneur who's been tested by every wave the financial world has thrown, and he's still standing. He calls himself a leader by design, and after today, you'll understand why. Las Vegas, please welcome to the check-in Preston Gomez, Mr. To the P, Don Keys, the man behind 40 Keys.
Wow, he made me sound good, man. Let's go. Thank you, my man.
Let's go.
That's my man. I'm blushing right now. I just got a little warm. Thank you,
It's
man.
awesome, man. It's like, this is one of the most random meetups, and I feel like, I'm sure you believe in this, certain things align at the right time, and here we are. Like, I'm one of those guys that day trades a lot, and I've always wanted to sit down with somebody that built a community around it. And here we are today. And this is the reason that you're at the hotel, is because you built a whole community that you brought in. I've seen the guys trading down here.
Correct, yeah.
But we were just talking before we even started filming, the pivots that it took you to get to this step. And that is the most powerful things. It's that you've been adjusting over all these things, all these situations that the world has gone through, that you've been through. So let's talk about that. What kind of pivots did you go into that brought you to this seat today?
I believe that, pivots, they feel like failures. They feel like shortcomings. They feel like the world we always say it's falling apart, but it's truly fallen into place. And I always use the term fail forward, and I didn't know what the pivot was, right? It became like a cool term now that I'm older, I pivoted, right? But when I was younger, I was open to opportunity, and opportunity is only opportunity if you take it. So I just learned at a young age that internally, if it felt right, I was gonna try it. And I wasn't afraid to fail. I wasn't afraid to look foolish. And when you kind of approach opportunity with that mentality, it just opens you up for more opportunity, and I just kept walking through the doors that most people would have probably not really walked through, even maybe through the window sometimes too, right?
What were some of those opportunities you would say?
Man, well, early on, I believe everything starts with sales. Like, it doesn't matter if you're, especially nowadays in the branding space, I had to learn sales at a young age, so I got into door-to-door sales.
I did door-to-door.
Yeah, I got into door-to-door sales, and then that segued into cars, where I was able to learn, finance, credit, things of that nature. But the big eye-opener for me when I was in the car industry was the amount of work ethic it took to be successful. And when I realized that I could apply that same work ethic to my life and the things that I was passionate about, I pieced out of the car industry at about 21, 22. And I truly never looked back. And at that point, I had already been making music at a high level, touring on the independent scene, right? This is the LimeWire days. I'm going to show my age right now. But, back in my day, we used to press CDs up and pass bound and fucking do the
I'm right there with you, man.
Do the shuck and jive, man. But you don't got as much gray hair. I got gray hair. So, do the, I don't want to say do the ditty, but, we were all, we were always just, maneuvering, right? And when you learn the independent artistry at a young age, you have to pick up certain things like merchant. We were making a lot of our production, so we owned our studios. So we were making beats for other artists. We were making all our own shirts, sweatshirts, hats, paraphernalia to hand out at the clubs. And then we started recording studio time and things of that nature. So the pivot kind of happens organically when you're moving in the direction that you want. But as long as you just keep moving it towards that direction, sometimes you got to step left and step right. And a lot of the times too, you'll see that when you're moving in that direction, you got to be careful who you're moving with, because karma we think will come for you, but you could just be working with the wrong person, catching stray bullets, working with the wrong people.
Right. So
I had to always kind of just pivot, and the music industry was not a safe spot. Right. It never really has been.
Right.
So it just always had me trying to figure it out, and I feel like that's what kind of life is always in a learning situation of, how am I going to figure this out? And I know if I just keep showing up, I'm going to figure it out. So, to go back to what was the major pivots, it was just really taking opportunities. And then if those opportunities didn't work, somehow I always failed forward. Like I would take the hit.
That's a mindset.
Yeah, but then another opportunity would be presented because I failed at this opportunity, but someone saw the value in the opportunity that I had tried to take on.
Right.
So it's really just everything's trial and error and not giving up after the first door gets closed. But that goes back to door-to-door sales.
100%.
You got to knock on the door, and if you ain't knocking on the door, it's going to close. But some people don't even knock on the door to see who's going to open. So I just always had that mentality at a young age, but I think a lot of it had to do because I started young doing door-to-door sales, hearing a lot of no's, understanding that rejection, you're one yes away from, millions of dollars. So, and I always just kept that mentality of, hey, I ain't worried about that. No, what's the next yes, so that was always kind of my edge, I feel, and always has been my edge, even to this day.
Yeah, I think the failing forward thing is something that I've started adopting like lately, and I understand where you're coming from that. Like when it's happening, you don't think it's really a pivot. You wouldn't even call it a pivot at that time, right? Sometimes you're just like, I'm lost, like what's going on? You're like,
feels heartbreaking, discouraging, crying in the shower.
Like for myself, I was getting ready for a title fight, getting ready to go to Singapore, last training session, blew out my entire ACL. But from that is where I transitioned into trading. And from that, now we're sitting here doing this. And it's almost like you have to connect the dots looking back.
Yep.
That's when you start calling them pivots.
And you don't know what it is when you're in the moment.
Exactly.
You say that there's a saying, you can't see the woods from the forest or the forest from the woods. Excuse me. And that's kind of what it is when it's happening at the moment. It feels like it's the worst. It's the end of everything. Why, God? Why is this happening to me? And then I just stopped asking why, and I just started saying thank you.
How many moments did you have of those before you got to that point?
Hundreds.
Like hundreds.
More failures, more losses, more stabbed in the back, more middlemaned out. You name it. Like especially in the music industry and the cannabis industry, I was never a grower. I was never a buyer. I was always the middleman.
Right.
So
what's the middleman do?
Middleman connects the dots. Right. I was a professional dot connector, and I did that in the music industry, even in what I'm doing right now. Right. I connect people with the plays still.
Yeah.
So the middlemaning never stopped, but when you're in the wrong industry, you don't know your true value. And I was in industry in a position where I was almost marginalized. And once I just got into another room, I was seen for what I always knew I was. So, it's just all about keeping pushing and just really being thankful for the lesson in the journey, because once I started just giving gratitude for it, and stopped praying for strength, I started thanking for the pain that I'm going through. Everything switched.
So it's a mindset shift, basically.
100%.
So you were going through the same stuff, but it was just a shift of mindset of how we're going to interpret this situation at this point.
Yeah, and it just you don't know it when it's happening.
When you don't know
it just feels like it's the end of the world, man. And I've had so many times where I've just questioned everything, even now, being 43 and still making music and seeing kind of the landscape of hip hop and where I'm at. I don't, when I thought I would get here, I didn't think I would be where I'm at, right? And not in a sense of an educator or a mentor of things of that nature, but just where my mind is on how I perceive the industry, because I always looked at it as a young man's sport. And once I get to this, I'm done. I'm over the hill.
Right.
But we have rock stars that are still on stage till they're 80. So when I was coming up, hip hop hadn't been alive for that, 20, 30 years. Like it hasn't had the longevity of rock, so now we're seeing the longevity of it. We're finding that, your best top selling artists are in their late 40s, early 40s right now.
Yeah.
So it's, you never know until.
That's still something you're dabbling in.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Music's never stopped. I still always work with artists. I mentor artists. I mentor traders. I mentor, builders, businesses, whatever, because I've had so many different lives that I've experienced.
Yeah.
There's so much value in every single thing, and those pivots and all those failures. Those failures came with lessons, and I get to teach those lessons now.
Got it.
So.
And how important do you think it is to move those lessons to the next generation? Like I saw the traders that were down here, they're all young people.
That's what keeps me young.
Right.
Even when I was doing music, I was always investing in younger artists, and that's what keeps you youthful, right? I always believe if you want to stay tapped into the culture, you got to know what the culture's doing with the young ones. Lord knows I'm not on TikTok and doing all that stuff,
right.
but I got a bunch of 20-year-olds here, 18-year-olds that I teach how to make money every day. They put me up on the lingo and say, hey, Unc, what's up? Da, 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 da,
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that I'm just progressing and aging at the pace that I'm doing it, because a lot of people, one, they don't make it to my age. I have friends that didn't make it here, and just to be where I'm at, it's fucking rad, man.
Right.
It's rad, and it's just getting better.
It just keeps getting better. It's almost like a lot of people that, especially entrepreneurs, it seems like that 40 mark onwards is when they start breaking through. But you always think you're gonna break through in your 20s. But 20s and it's almost, I feel like I've started catching this pattern of everyone that I'm talking to, because almost everyone's been older than me that I've spoken to. And it's like 40 and even like mid 40s was where they kind of I broke through then. But you expected to break through when you're 20 or in your 30s, and you're just still kind of going through your pivots, right? You're still going through the modes before you found your lane.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be able to give me the kind of money I'm making right now and when I was 20.
Okay. Yeah,
and I did,
it'd be dangerous, right?
I did great when I was 20, and I did great in my 30s. I'd lost it all, got it back, lost it all, got it back.
Right.
And they always say, you don't know who you are until you go broke in your 30s twice.
Right.
And when being divorced and losing things and starting from zero again, it was almost like a habit I had created where I wasn't afraid to start from just flat zero.
Right.
Because I know that it ain't going no lower than that. It ain't, I'm not becoming a drug addict or anything,
But did that affect the relationships around you? Like you're saying, you're divorced, not everybody adopts that mindset.
I had to lose. Well, you have to lose. They always say you got to lose your first love in order to really grow from it. And I was a young man in early healing stages from, daddy issues, father trauma, life trauma, generational curses, however you want to call it. And, I had to lose and ruin a relationship with someone who I love and I still care for very much to this day, in order to grow through that and really forgive. But the man that I was becoming wasn't the man that I was then. And I had to make that mistake, and that was a painful pivot. Let's just put it like that. Yeah. But they say the best way to get a man's purpose realigned is he's got to lose it fucking all. He's got to get himself out of the mud, and that's exactly what I did. So I'm grateful for all the mud being slanged. Yeah. But if it brought me right here, I'm cool with it.
Was that a crazy dark time at that time?
Now we're talking story. It was because I'd created a toxic relationship from one to another. I was a little infidel. Okay. And not proud to say. It's not something I say with a smile. I might be smirking when I say it, but it's just because it makes me still uneasy because it's not who I am. It was just what I did. And looking back at it now, I was realizing that I was just masking issues from my father passing away, issues from certain things that I didn't even know were issues at the time, So looking back now, when we talk about, you didn't know if it was a pivot or a fail forward, I had to let time go. But while it was happening, it felt like it was the worst part of my life.
So how did you confront those things? Was when you came to terms with that maybe it's from this, like my father or something like that. Like, how did you come to terms with that?
I started really auditing my patterns.
Okay.
Right? Like I'm always in my head of,
Yeah.
why did I do this? What was it? And not in a sense of I need to make an excuse for my actions, because it was always accountability with me. But why did I, or who? Right? Who was the version of me that was doing this? Who, so I was always the one to just ask and really try to figure out what was it that was taking over of my consciousness to make these decisions that I clearly knew weren't good for me. And then when you go back and you start auditing your life and seeing like, oh, this is why this was this. Oh, this is why this was that. And now it's just one big aha moment as I continue to get older.
So you did that by yourself, or did you have like counseling or like?
Now I work with somebody that to get to a level to help other people get to that level. But no, I went through like a conscious healing thing, just very naive through, ayahuasca, mushrooms.
You did ayahuasca?
LSD, all the fucking psychedelics, and I don't believe too much in them anymore. I believe that sitting with yourself in a dark space and not speaking and not having outside noise, you need that alone, that stillness, in order to really start the healing process. There's no amount of shrooms or ayahuasca that's going to heal you. That's just fucking bullshit.
Oh, really? So you went down that path, and you don't think the answer wasn't found within those?
Surface level.
Surface
Surface level, like, and it might be different for other people that have done ayahuasca, but for me, the first thing I did, it didn't take me to a place of understanding myself. It took me to a place of understanding life. That we're energy, that we will continue through, overcoming a fear of death, right? And that's kind of, for me at least, that was my experience, was I had to face death.
Yeah, they always say the first thing is an ego death is what you got to face.
Is exactly, and once I realized that was what it was, then the journey started happening outside of the drugs or whatever.
So when you say you don't need those things and you need to just be aware of self, like what are we talking about? Like, do you still have like a certain routine that you do where?
Yeah, currently a lot of it's silent talks and silent drives and silent walks with no music, and really just trying to be as present as possible with my thoughts and where it is that I truly want to go in the direction of my life.
Got it. So obviously your entrepreneurial spirit, the way that you are, comes from a childhood. Like, there's some way that you were raised. Like for myself, I know where my drive comes from being from immigrant parents and like, a certain upbringing in a small town. But so what is the upbringing of yourself that you would say that drove you door to door, to where we're sitting today?
Yeah.
Chasing the next thing, always falling, getting up, because it takes a certain spirit of a person, a certain upbringing for someone to do that.
Yeah, there was two things that I learned, and once again, when we talk about coming out of trauma, right? I had lost my dad at a young age, at the age of 14. At that time, I was told and thought it to be suicide. So I went through 26 years of my life thinking that I was going to be a victim of suicide, right? Like I was going to follow in my father's footsteps. Right. And then I ended up on a different healing path, going into Sedona, finding out that a couple like literally hours before I was going to Sedona to think I was doing all this work, to find out that he had actually been murdered. Okay. So a big weight came off of me just from hearing these little key things that just members in my family maybe have swept under the rug, or it was easier to just take on this is what happened and we'll just leave it at that. So I got hit with just a lot of stuff. And you have that trauma at a young age that forces you to kind of step up. And I had to start stepping up, and I put a chip on my shoulder and started putting on a mask on, okay, I had to go right back to school. Like my mom, the way she was raised, never, she taught me never to cry, so I resented people that would show emotion. Right. So when I started going through these hard things, there was no emotion involved with what I was doing. I went to school the next day, and I started putting on this character, if you will. Right. And that character was, I was an only child, was to get people to like me in a sense. And watching my mom just be a single mom going through and watching that, the one main thing that she taught me was to show up. She was a full-time single mom. So she was working 5-6 days a week. She did great for us.
Yeah.
But there were two things I learned from her that really created the foundation for who I am was one, right? Always show up no matter what. There's no sick days. Life continues. It don't matter what happens. You got to show up. And that's why I'm so great at what I do with trading. And then number two, her scarcity mindset when it came to opportunity made it so I became the exact fucking opposite.
Got it.
I was an all-in person. I don't care. I've already lost everything. I don't care. I'm all in. I'm gonna figure it out. Because at that age, when you're 14, I just lost my dad. And he killed himself in my head, finding out I didn't find out until 26 years later, like literally a couple years ago, that wasn't what had happened. And that put that chip on my shoulder and just made it that I just chin up, chest out. What up, life?
Right.
What up, life? Like, and I was able to look in grown men's eyes and see that they were weak because I had put up so much strength from the things that I had gone through that like you couldn't tell me nothing. When you go through that much pain that young, like I feel that's what really separates men, right? Is the amount of pain and you're in fighting too, right?
Yeah.
That heart, how much character do you have? How much pain, how can you sit in the pain cave for that long? And I put myself through the ringer and that just, it created that grit for me, and it worked against me later on because then I was masking it with infidelity and things of that nature. But for the most part, that's what put that protective armor on me and made it so I was fearless.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy because we don't really realize what can be self-destructive to us and what is working in our favor. And it's like it seems like a certain thing worked for you up until a certain point. And then you're in a relationship and it becomes destructive in that point. But it's that same formula that was getting you through the doors and getting into situations. Because like I've seen that with myself. I've even seen that in those situations, like, especially on the mental health side of things, just dealing with like I lost 2 cousins to suicide at 14 and just somebody that literally was raising me and just disappearing and then just kind of compartmentalizing that pain and putting it away and thinking it was gone. And now when you get older, it just starts popping up in the most random of times.
And
right?
you don't know when it pops up too.
You don't know when it pops up.
It's triggered.
You start seeing it in conversations, the way you're interacting with your spouse or somebody, right? And you're just like, why am I disconnecting and going numb in these conversations? It's as a shield of armor. Am I protecting myself from a certain thing? But then that shield also allows you to just grind out. Because you just put the pain to the side and you're like, I just gotta keep going, I gotta keep going. Whatever I gotta do, I gotta learn this overnight, I gotta study this, I gotta do this. So you can just kind of keep pushing forward. And it's like a good and a bad, it's like a yin and a yang of those situations because it's what built you to be here, but it's also something that was self-destructive in another situation.
Yeah, and you don't know that until you get to, you almost hit like a plateau, a pinnacle of how hard you can go. And that persona, that version of you can only get you so far. Right. And then all of a sudden you're going to want to get to the next level and you're going to have to address that pain at some point and you're going to have to heal from it or you don't get a ticket to the next level.
Exactly.
Once I started realizing that I don't get a ticket to the next level unless I start addressing some of the rooted issues. I started really sitting with myself and having those silent conversations, really started mapping out and auditing the cause and effect of all my choices and what brought me to wherever I was at that time.
Right. I think that's what's bringing you through the doors that are like, it almost seems like from what I read about you is you were always kind of prepared for the industry that was about to be stepping up at the time. Like, I saw that you were in NFTs, saw that you were in the options and stuff like that. Do you think your mind always being outside and always like looking over the broader picture of things, you were always able to be one step ahead to get in there? Like the NFT craze. Like I was part of the NFT craze. I think I was a holder of one of your NFTs now that I think about it. And I'm like, but it's one thing to be a holder, but one thing to be running the whole project, to be part of it. So how were you setting yourself up in situations like that?
Really, I was always kind of brought on when the ship was sinking, because I was a fix-it guy. So it's like when things would come in and people would hit their plateau, let's bring P in. I was never brought in as the initial, which is always frustrating because you knew you had opportunity to work with me in the beginning and we probably could have done it right. But instead, you let your ego and your pockets choose another direction. And then once the holes in the ship started leaking, you knew somebody who knows how to patch holes. And me being where I was still open to the opportunity, but I wasn't really standing on my nose. And we know as we get older, it's the nose that protects you.
Right.
And I didn't have that because I still had healing to do internally, where I felt that I had to keep saying yes to every opportunity to get people to like me. And that was that only child syndrome, the daddy intro, all these little things that were protective, right? They actually were hindering me. So the things that we think are protection are really consequences from not addressing the underlying real rooted issue.
Mm-hmm. So what was that like being in that NFT space?
It was amazing. I loved it. I fucking crushed it.
Do you think we get a second wave of that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I've told people. I'm like, it's almost like the crypto boom in, what was it, 2017? All the shit coins kind of started disappearing, but the real projects stuck around.
Yep.
And I think the real projects for NFT I'm starting to notice more volume on it already. Right, it's almost kind of like the background guys are kind of already starting to add their stuff. I know certain guys that got their Bored Apes, they're picking them up, they're picking up the collections because they know it's coming again.
Yeah, and I'm excited for it. Again, I had a great run.
Yeah.
I also exited the space as well, but what even brought me to the space was music. And music is truly what brought me to everything, because I always needed to make enough money to stay creative when the music wasn't paying me as much as I needed in order to continue.
Yeah.
And when I got into the NFT space, I just wanted to learn how to integrate the music with the technology.
Right.
And really what I learned was how to build community, how to get directly to the consumer, right? That it's not really about the tech, but it's about launching the tech, right? Everything, it gave you the formula for a modern day startup.
Yeah.
And it's worked. And I'm
What do you
grateful
think
for
it will take NFTs to survive this next go around? Like, what do you think a project needs to have?
Well, utility for one, right? And two, an understanding, it has to be more than a startup.
Yeah.
Because when you look at businesses, the average business entrepreneur doesn't stay in business for more than 3 years. So it has to have a legitimate business model to it. For me, my background was events. So to incorporate NFTs into collectible art that could be tickets to get into concerts, that's kind of a no-brainer, you know. But to figure out where it's going to go or what's going to be the next phase of, I'm here for it, but my crystal ball broke. So
Would you invest into it again?
Oh, 100%. 1,000% actually, you know, and I still look at my Bored Apes, and I still look at the thing, you know.
So you hold Bored
Oh, I sold all mine. I actually got out at the right time, you know. Not because I wanted to,
right?
Because I had to. Life had hit me with some hiccups,
okay.
And I actually had to liquidate. And you know, in hindsight, I look like a genius.
Yeah, of course.
But you know, it wasn't by choice. Okay. Similar right now with my crypto holdings. You know, life had hit, but you know, hindsight, markets were at the high. I was like, okay, I gotta take care of some life here. Let's handle it.
Right.
So if on paper it looks like I knew what the fuck I was doing,
you got out right before the bubble burst.
Yeah, truth be told, I just stupid luck. You know, even when I got in and hit my big run, it was still it was luck. Being at the right place at the right time. I didn't truly know what I was doing like I do now.
Do you think luck plays a big factor in?
I think luck is based upon how ready you are, how much you prepare, right? Like, what does it say? Like, luck is just opportunity meeting preparation, right? So I wouldn't say I was lucky. I said I was preparing, you know, and I put myself in it. And just like any other opportunity, if I don't walk into a room, how am I going to get on a podcast?
Right.
You know, was it luck or was it me taking opportunity, just doing what I'm doing, being present, and then the opportunity presents itself? So, you know, I don't really like the word luck, because truthfully, you have to be putting yourself in that room. You have to be putting yourself in that position, and you have to have a little bit prepared for that luck to happen. It just don't, this wouldn't have happened if I was in my room.
Yeah.
You know, 100%. But I believe if I hang out in the lobby enough, I'll see some things, and that's how you network and create that opportunity. So, opportunity and preparation.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know, because I was trying to put it together. I'm like, how did this even come to be? And I'm like, oh, I went on their story, then I came around, I'm like, oh crap, like this is literally what I was looking for. I need to hit this guy up right now.
Well, I was telling my videographer Anthony, shout out Anthony right there, and killing it behind the camera. You know, the way I'm moving and the way I'm building my team currently right now, I wouldn't say it's on blind faith, but it is blind faith and intuition. Like I think I need to go sit here for a couple weeks and see what business I can drum up. I need to go sit here for a couple. Even how we came up with this event, we had just came off of another big event, and in my head I was like, we need to do the next event in Vegas. Don't ask me why. I know we do. So I flew out here, walked a bunch of properties, and then we pulled the trigger on this one. And it's just blind faith. Blind faith.
So how important do you think it is to have your energy in the right spot to be able
it's
to
the
navigate
only thing that's all you need. It's the most important, right? Your energy has to be in the right spot, but so do you physically, right? Because if you're doing kumbaya in your room and your energy's in the right spot, that's cool. But there ain't nobody that's gonna sense that energy, you know. So if you want that energy to be matched, you got to put it in rooms where there's other energy in there, and then that's when the law of attraction comes into play, right? So you know, I attract what's meant for me. And the energy, I don't even attract unwanted energy because I'm operating, I feel, at such a high level, and I'm so comfortable with who and where I'm at in life and what I do that the devil can't even work around me. You know, he ain't even allowed in the room. He senses I'm here and he leave. You know, so that, and I believe that like 1,000,000%.
That's crazy. So then how do you get into the trading community? Like, how does that come about?
I signed up for a shady MLM.
Okay. All right.
I signed
so
up.
what was that? That was what? They were selling courses? They were...
Yeah, just signals, you know, very surface level stuff. But at that point, it was one of the biggest in the space, you know. I was a COVID boomer. And signed up for it, kept my head down, my mouth shut for 6 months. But the minute I was able to call a trade live, hey, I got the fucking plug. We gonna make some money. Let's go. I love it. Look, I'm gonna come over right now and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna how much you make a day. If I show you we can make this in 3 minutes, you're gonna come and run this play. And that's how I started building my business, was showing up to, you know, people that were interested in trading in front of them and showing them that, watch, I'm gonna make this money. I'm gonna withdraw this money, and once you see this money is real, you're gonna come get this money with me. And that's kind of how I started running my plays.
What made those people, as you would say, fake gurus? Was it that they were really never trading with real money? They were trading fake, like what was it?
Well, for us, we went through so many, and my shout out my partner KO40. After we had gone through the MLM run that we did, and we kind of watched the landscape of everything. You go to one person's Telegram chat, you go check out somebody else's Discord, you go check, and none of these dudes know how to fucking trade. You know, and that's when you know you're kind of getting to a higher level of market understanding. And when you start sitting on gurus trades and you're like, they're calling trades and you're like, yeah, I don't like that trade right now. Like, I don't think that's gonna hit. And then sure as shit, it don't. You know, so that was kind of like our MO after you sign up and pay for so many different little signal telegrams and things of that nature. And then you see all these guys, all the content, all your trading content creators that are like, oh, I got the free Discord, or I got the free this and the free this, but they're making their money on monetization. They're making money off of your referrals every time you lose an account. So when you go through all those things and you hear all these statistics, and then you actually sit in the rooms where those statistics are supposed to be real and they're not fucking real, me and my partner just kind of really got over the space. And that's when we started just doing our own thing. And of course I had been, you know, did the trial and error of teaching for a couple other platforms before that. And I'd created a good reputation for myself on showing up and calling live trades. So when I decided to pivot and we decided to do our own thing, it didn't even happen. It happened extremely organically because I never wanted to be a mentor. I never even wanted to get into high ticket coaching. I'm very uncomfortable. I always feel God got me. So why would I want to take your money if I truly got it like that? And that was always my big thing. And I had called so many signals and taught so well that I had people going, mentor me. And I truthfully, mentally, I wasn't where I needed to be. Financially, I was still a degenerate mindset, gambling mindset. Like, I'm 43 years old. You can cut that out if you want, right? No, I'm just kidding. We can keep the age. I'm majestic in my age. But, you know, I had a gambling mindset. You know, I'm used to coming to Vegas and fucking running it up. I'm used to putting packs on the load and losing it and going all in for zero. So that's really been the hardest thing for me. It's not understanding market. It's not calling trades live.
That was probably your biggest thing when you were trading, was just gambling instead of properly trading?
Emotional trading too. I wasn't as comfortable with who I was and honest with the situationship I was in also, which I feel is important, right? Because when you start moving with intelligence and intuition, then you're in full alignment.
Right.
But if I'm intuitively knowing I'm not supposed to be in a situation, but my brain is telling me to stay in the situation, it doesn't go down, it goes up. Shout out my boy Travis Fox, you know. But the thought shouldn't come from the brain to the heart.
Right.
It should come from the heart to the brain. So, you know, I was just moving out of alignment.
Got it. So, okay, so I want to dive into trading psychology,
Yeah.
which I personally believe is the most important thing when trading.
It's the only thing that's important.
It is the only thing that matters, right? Because I came from an MMA background to trading, which is where, like, you know, when you go into an MMA fight, you're almost kind of putting your brain to the side. You're like, you're going into crazy risks. If you actually thought through it, you would never enter the cage because it makes no sense to go into harm, right? But then I would bring over that same thing into my trading life. So I get off the mats and I go to my computer. Now exactly what you're saying, it would be translated into almost gambling.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no risk, no Ferrari, right? So
Especially when you're working with prop firms too. I feel like the prop firm space, and for those that don't know what prop firms are, prop firms are the ability to trade with other people's money. You sign up for a test, you fail the test, you know, you do it, you retry it again. That's the business model. They make money off of you failing, not off of you winning, right? They create a bunch of rules to keep you in the system, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But when you get into the prop firm phase, it's hard because you'll have weeks where you'll be profitable, but all it takes is just one small rule or one small thing, and then you're back to square one, where you don't really know that, like, you probably could have just opened up a cash account, paid yourself 5 different weeks in a row, and been good. So I'm not a big fan of props or anything of that, but I believe, like, once you come in, if you really want to work on your mindset, go put $500 in a cash account in Forex. Start small, right? And for those that don't know, the Forex is a foreign exchange industry, but that's going to be your best bet as a new trader because the ticket is low to get into, right? And if you can't take $100 and turn it to 1,000, you're never going to take 1,000, turn it to 10, 10 to 100, so on and so forth.
So you think that's a better way to go? Because obviously, like, I know that too, that the whole prop firm model is built on blowing evals, and obviously then you get into the revenge phase. You keep buying them, hoping that you'll get a payout. Then once you get funded, now you got to do it in a certain space. So you think the better strategy would be to just start something small and start it on your own? Because it's usually the drawdowns and stuff that, like, you know, you can have a $500 drawdown and you're liquidated right after.
You know, there's no wrong way or right way for it internally to make sense to somebody.
Right.
You know, so the same thing that might make sense to you and make you feel comfortable trading might not work for me. So I don't really shame people for it. My opinion's just my personal opinion.
It's not a shame thing. I think it's the model, like, you know, $60 eval feels better than a $500 deposit into, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, but eventually you blow 10 evals and that was your $500.
Right, especially if you're stacking the accounts.
You're stacking the accounts and you're copy trading through them all and stuff like that. And most prop traders have been there. I've been there. And like, you know, I can definitely see the business model. And then looking back on it, I'm like, I could have just accumulated all this money and just done exactly what you're saying right now. And just...
Yeah, same. I went through the prop firm phase, but I was also, when I was brought into the industry, I was brought in to take a $500 account and turn it to 5,000. That was always like our thing.
That was
500 to 5,000, 3 to 6% a day.
That was that was the group that?
The how we started trading, that's how the scaling would. They'd make you pull up the compound calculator. They would show you what, you know, a $500 account can turn into $1 million in 286 trading days. And, you know, you look for 3% a day and then you're outside, you're doing it, right? So that's how I was always brought into the industry. Prop firms weren't really a thing when I was getting started. Yeah. Excuse me. But now they're a thing, and they create discipline. I won't say they're not bad, but the business model is definitely works against the user.
Well, the model's changed so much now. Before I got into it, apparently it used to be a 3-step thing. Now you got your same-day funding, so guys are just buying them until they get funded.
Yeah.
Right? So they'll like hit this 1250 target, and they'll just keep doing it. Or like all of a sudden you're past it, you're like, oh, I'm funded. Now I'm making real money. Then you blow it on that one.
Yeah.
So it's like the process to get the funding is quicker now, but it's almost more dangerous now.
Yeah, I mean, I trade on both. I got a cash account, I got a funded account, and
You got a funded prop firm account?
Yeah, yeah, the rules are extremely annoying.
Yeah.
You know, just the small little rinky-dink rules. Right. You know, every reason they could figure out not to pay you, they're going to figure it out. So, all roads always lead back to your own cash account. Cash is king always.
Right. So, if somebody's starting out, what do you think is the best way to get into the market? Like, obviously, people are always scared to get in. Like, people that are new from outside are always like, dude, like, I don't know how to navigate this.
But
And especially, like, you know, a lot of people watch Trump and stuff, and they're like, dude, this guy influences. Like, have you found trading harder since that? Or no, it makes no difference to you? The headline-driven markets are not the same as, like, flat kind of read the charts.
that's what we do is read the charts. I stay away from the news.
Okay.
Yeah, have I been affected by it? Yes. Has it hurt?
Right.
But for the most part, I tune out the noise. You know, my opinion, because my opinion is biased on what's going on with our economy, and my opinion is biased what's going on with the world.
Right.
So if I allow those opinions, and I have it written out on my thing, trade what you see, not what you think, because the markets are going to tell you 9 times out of 10 way before the news hits you. And a lot of times too, the news has already been worked into the pricing of where the markets currently are right now. So, you know, Orange Man gonna do what Orange Man do, and if we get to make money with Orange Man, I made a fuck ton of money with them. You know, have I lost money with them? Yeah, but I made way more than made way more than I lost.
Okay. And what's your take on, like, algo trading?
Once again, you still need the discipline in order to do it. Even if you have an algorithm, you know, handling your trade and managing the position or any of those things, you still can click the sell button whenever. So whatever works, man. For me to say anything negative about a way somebody chooses to make money if the system works, it's none of my fucking business.
But if the system isn't working for somebody, but they just keep trying the same thing, what would you say would be the best way to go? Like, join a community, join a class?
Yeah, the power of proximity is a real thing.
Right.
You know, you wouldn't be as good of a fighter if you didn't train with other good fighters.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up skateboarding. You always had to skate with somebody who was better than you. Grew up surfing. Always had to surf with someone who's better than you. Rapping, you always had to be in the studio with bigger, you know, like my boy Daylight. Like, I always had to be in the studio with real lyricists, real artists. If I wanted my pen to be sharp, you got to fight with people who are tougher than you if you want to be tough. So iron sharpens iron.
Do you guys run challenges in your group? Like,
Yeah, we do little trading challenges and stuff like that. But really what I just try to hammer is just the consistency with your trading plan. You know, if you have your rules, stick to those rules and don't allow outside noise to get into a position of a trade where you knew you shouldn't have fucking taken the fucking trade, you know? Right. So I hammer tuning out the noise and really just focusing on your trading plan and what works for you.
Right. Is there a certain strategy that you do use? Like,
I don't teach strategy, I teach structure.
Okay.
So when everybody asks
how's that different?
Well, strategy is I feel what people use as like their cheat code, right? You know, opening range, breakout, whatever the fuck, right? To me personally, if you have a good understanding of market structure, you'll be able to trade in any market. Me, I have to trade live 6 days a week, so I don't have the ability to wait for the ideal, okay guys, here's my strategy is kicking in. But if I were to break it down, I trade market structure. And when you have a high level understanding of market structure, you could take the buy, you could take the sell, you could take the intraday, whatever.
Is it high pressure trading with everybody watching?
I'm numb at
you
this
numb to
point.
it?
You know, I've
I
been.
feel like I mess up whenever somebody's watching me do it. I have to go.
Oh, you had a trip. We had when we had 100 people in here this
Oh,
morning.
dude, I was-
this morning training.
I gotta like I don't want nobody watching me.
Yeah, wait until Aaron clips in the footage of. I mean, we had this place ripping and roaring.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I love it, and maybe it's just the performer in me, you know. And I feel with where we're at right now with like live streaming culture and stuff, I incorporated the music that I do into my education. I incorporate my personality into the education. I'm very unfiltered for fun, right? I like to roast the chat, but it's all coming from a place of tough love. So. I just enjoy what I do. And
So you're trading live every single day with these guys?
yes, sir.
Okay. So are these technically? Are you doing like scalp trades? Are you doing swings? Are you setting up?
Well, right. So some trades will run for a swing. Some trades are intraday. Some days are scalp.
Right.
You know, but I always make sure I focus on us getting paid. Today we hit, you know, all three of our TPs today. So it was, TP means take profit. That means you take a buy or you take a sell, and it goes and it pays you all the way fully to where you think the market's going. So it's just, I love what I do, man. Right. And I truly love what I do. Like being an MMA fighter, you'll understand it's like winning a championship every fucking day. You know,
you get paid out right away.
Right. And it's not even really about me getting paid, because sometimes I'd be missing my trades when I'm teaching for everybody, because I get so in the zone and answering questions and looking at this and clicking at that, that like sometimes I'll miss my setup or fumble my bag. But, you know, seeing other people succeed right now, I feel like the highest form of faith is duplication. And I feel me being able to duplicate at the level that I do, which is creating other educators, creating other, you know, entrepreneurs and day traders. That's how you know you're great, right? It's one thing to do it on your own, but when you could duplicate it,
you can do it
within others, there's no higher form.
Is there any big success stories that have come out of the group?
Oh yeah, I mean, I got one of my boys beating him over the head for 5 figures a week right now. I got some of,
What did he start from? Did he start from?
Yeah, start with a $3,000 account, you know, ran it up to almost 100 bands in the last couple of weeks. So
in a couple of weeks he did that? Jeez.
Yeah. So, and I have some students that have been, you know, the highest paid out on certain prop firms and stuff, but really it's not about the money or the win rate or the percentage. It's the time freedom that I'm allowing students to get back so they can be more present with their family, more present with their passions.
I think that's the main reason most people get into trading, right? It's like, yeah, there's one thing I want to jump in with. It's like, you should trade in a way where it buys you freedom. But some people get stuck behind the charts all day. And you're basically doing the complete opposite of what was the whole goal of this to begin with. The goal was to quickly do your job, and now you got your whole day free.
Yep.
But then sometimes the greediness in you, if you hit a good trade right at the start, like I'll hit more and I'll just sit here, let's grind this out.
Do it again.
Until you give it all back by the end of the day. You could have just walked away.
Tell them, look at Vegas and see that's who's getting rich off of you. You want more.
Exactly. So that's definitely one of those things. It's like, how do you handle that? Like, do you teach that to your students? Like the psychology is going to come down to the psychology of it.
I handle it in real time in front of them, so I don't have to teach what I show.
Right. Because there's a greedy psychology, and then there's the revenge psychology, then there's that loss.
If I crash out behind closed doors, that's my crash out. You don't see that stuff. But for the most part, I show my mindset in front of you when we go into drawdown or when we go into profit. Drawdown is when the market goes negative against you, right? So just so you guys
usually when you get liquidated on your prop.
Yeah. So like if I'm ever in a trade and you hear their term drawdown, that means I'm negative, and it's how comfortable you feel being negative. But you know, when you could show it, it makes it easy not to teach it. And I'll get text messages like, man, I don't know how you were able to do that and have faith in the trade and did it. You just got to trustyourtrade.com.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there main instruments that you trade?
As far as assets?
Yeah.
I only trade US 30.
You only trade
US 30 Dow Jones. If you trade with futures, it's YM.
Yeah, I just learned that today because I wanted to learn it in case I was trading with you guys tomorrow. So I wanted to know what it was because I only trade gold, really.
Yep.
I don't know. I just fell in love with gold for a while now.
Hey, gold going to 7K.
A lot of people saying that.
Gold going to 7K.
Yeah.
And I like the buys at 4,400, but I didn't say none of this is financial advice.
I know. Yeah. So I've definitely been hearing that on a lot of different places. Gold going to 7K, and they're trying to take all the bulls out, get them bored.
Yep.
And then they're gonna run that shit up again. Like,
I'm here for it.
here for it.
I'm fucking here for it. Whenever there's opportunity, and that's why everyone's like, Orange Man, Orange Man.
Yeah.
He's just creating more buying opportunities.
Right.
You know, who cares that the market tanks? Right. Historically, every time the market's tanked, what has it done? Gone on the biggest rally of its life. Yeah. So I'm here for the chaos.
Do you trade stocks?
No.
No? You just stay with it?
Yeah, just the U.S. I'll invest, and I don't even invest in stocks, but I invest in crypto and things of that nature, yeah.
Okay, sweet. So if somebody does want to get started, how are they getting started with you?
With me, just reaching out, shoot me a DM, and I entertain consulting one-on-ones, you know, and sit down, and I don't work with everybody. You could kind of tell who's going to vibe with you and who's not. Right. But best way is just book a call, and we'll talk story. And typically, if the energy's right and I align, then we do business. If not, no harm.
Are your students from like all different parts?
All over the world.
So the people that we see here today in Vegas with you,
yep.
All different
walks of life.
And is there people that are overseas that are tuning in?
100%.
Nice.
Yeah, the company I currently teach for now is called Akashex, and it's a global company. We got students all over the world. So,
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, because it's definitely like US 30 is something that I've started looking into as of today. And I was like, I want to trade with this guy, man, because I was looking over all your stuff, and I think the biggest thing is, as much as you're trading alone, you don't want to trade alone.
Why would you?
Exactly. You want to do it with the community. You want to do it. It's like this weird human nature that we have. Like, I think the beauty of trading for myself is I can sit in my office and do it on my own. But I would be nice to do it as a group, whether the group's online or whether it's something like that. It's like, well, this weird thing though.
That's why we have so much success, is because we make our community fun. Like I said, there's playing music. I got theme songs for when we win, theme songs for when we lose. And that's just the artistry in me, right? Theme songs for when someone shows up late to class, you know. So I run a very tight ship, but we have a lot of fun, and I want to see people succeed. So I think when you have that and you're in this streaming culture like I was talking about, it's entertaining too. Like, my calls aren't entertaining. I give a lot of sources of value when I'm on those calls. So it's working.
If somebody wants to learn market structure from zero, how long do you think it would take somebody to learn markets? Because, like, you know, we're always sold on indicators, and everybody's trying to find the perfect indicator, the EMA to the VWAP to all that stuff. And you're trying to find the perfect Bollinger Band and all that stuff like that. But if somebody's starting from nothing, like zero education, how long do you think it takes them to learn?
Oh, it takes me anywhere from 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months.
Yeah, so I could start, you know, getting traders to have their aha moments after 90 days, and that's 90 days of them showing up 6 days a week taking mine. Right. So when I have like personal mentees or something like that, we'll meet up maybe twice a week, and after 6 one-on-ones, a lot of the times they're rocking and rolling.
Right. And then they're live trading with you.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. You know, you don't need to, when you come in, my best friend Skylar always says, if you're going to be a copycat, copy the right cat. Right. And that's what in essence, what you're doing. You're shadowing me, just like if you worked in a restaurant or a bartender or things of that nature. You want to learn how to make a cocktail, you're going to watch somebody make a cocktail, and then you're going to watch them do it so much that you just organically, there's the drink. So repetition is retention. I teach people how to get their reps in with me every day. Absolutely. And that's why I don't teach very complicated either, because if I can keep it simple, stupid, right? Until you see the markets, because I always say markets aren't numbers, it's angles, right? Angles in psychology. So if you could see angles on it, the numbers, the math, all that stuff don't matter. The markets go two ways. It's a green and a red button.
How long did it take you to have your aha moment, Glenn?
I'm still feel I'm having my aha moment. You know, as you start reaching new levels in finance, you know, you have that ceiling of where your capital stops until you break that ceiling, and then that ceiling will become the floor, just like trading support, and then I'll have a new ceiling again. So I feel I really started having like truly my breakthrough about like 8-9 months as an educator, right? From a trading standpoint, you know, I've been battling my own mind for since I started.
Right. That's wild, man. Like, truly fascinating, like, from all the different pivots and everything that you've been through. So there's always one last thing I always ask. I always ask, if today was your last day, today's the day that you will be remembered on this day forward, what is the legacy you want a person to remember as, whether a mentor, through the music, through the childhood raised, through everything? What do you want to be remembered as?
That's a really good question. And I want to be remembered as someone who cared. Someone who cared maybe a little bit more than you, someone that gave you that little bit of hope. Like when I think about, my last days, it's what am I going to remember though, right? Like it's not how I really want to be remembered, it's how I want to remember myself.
Right.
And I want to remember myself as a selfless person, someone who showed up for others. And we have two forms, right? We have service of self and service of others. And I want to remember myself as a selfless person.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing. Just hearing about you, the way that you've kind of navigated the whole thing, even the brand that you completely built, like the brand that is you. Where does that come from? Like the brand built, like obviously you said that you had worked on building brands. How important do you think that is for an individual or to build who they are?
Your identity and how you architect it, right? It comes from the pivots.
Right.
When I was in the music industry and I was creating my my movement, as they would call it, my Taylor gang, my I had my other one called Beach Life, and that was that. And then when that kind of fizzles out, you have, for me, I'm all about slangs and slogans. Right. So I have sign-offs, sign-ins, like, hey, to the prophets, aka Don Keys, brand, fuck yeah, mood, majestically, big guys, what's up, tapping in, not tapping out. So I have these little things that I have, but right now my brand is fuck yeah, big mood. And it came from just going through, going through just 10 years of bullshit. Like, when I was going through all those hardships of losing my wife and getting into a relationship and dealing with the drama of that, when things just started getting rough and really getting shitty, I was just like, fuck yeah. And then things started getting good and it was fuck yeah. So and fuck yeah just started coming out organically. Right. And then even with the music, when I'd be on stage, I'd have the crowd saying it, and go fuck yeah, and it just became that fuck yeah became my brand, overall, but it just happened organically because it was just something I said that made me smile.
That's crazy, man. Like it's really,
and those are the best brands, though. The ones that really mean something. And then I have my little slogan: "Grateful, healing, forgiven." Exactly where we need to be. My mantra, which got me through all of everything, and still gets me. It's my sign off every time I do it. So you got your mantra, you got your slogan, you got your brand. And now I got my slogan with my brand, and that's where I'm at right now with it.
That's crazy, man. Why do you think people should learn trading? Because like we were talking about the freedom of it. It's like it's almost like I always try to think of what are the things to get out of the matrix.
Yep.
And trading's one of the first things that I'm like, it's the only
Absolutely.
way. It seems like it's one of the only ways out unless you come from a lot of money. You come from some.
Trading is for people who get tired of trading their time for money.
Right.
And when you could learn to trade your money to free your time, that allows you to heal.
Right.
That allows you to become healthy, and it allows you to become more present in the things that you truly want to do. So, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I thought I had more with it, but no, I think I beat him over the head with that one.
Yeah, 100%. Bro, this has been an absolute honor.
Man, thank you.
It's been so cool to just
thank you just for
deep dive into your life,
man.
It's just been awesome. I definitely am going to tune into these sessions of yours, and I definitely want to join in and check it out because it's literally something that I've been looking for actually a while.
Yeah.
Literally for the past 2 weeks, because I was just saying, I don't like trading alone. And it's always—
I'll hold your hand, I got you.
Thank you. And it's always nice to just have a guide. Yeah. So I'm really just kind of creating my own strategies, creating my own way, getting through it. I'm a big 9 EMA guy, just scalp. But I would love to see what you see for the bigger moves and the
100%.
TPs and stuff like that.
I'd love to show you.
It's always evolution, right? You're always trying to evolve into the next chapter of life. And you definitely seem like your chapter's ahead, and I definitely want to follow in that.
They say when the student's ready, the teacher appears, and it's so sloganish and all the other things, but I believe that the work that I'm doing is 100% the Lord's work, and then when you can allow people to, get out of the matrix, the rat race, whatever it is, but truly be of service. The best way to tell somebody I love you is to put them in a position to make money, right? So if I'm putting people that in a position to make money every day, There's no higher form of loyalty that's going to come from that, but it truly comes from a place of, I don't care if you're more successful than me. Where in industries, people don't want to see that.
Right.
If I do my job correctly, there's no reason you shouldn't be more successful than me.
Yeah, like this, but like you said, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. I literally called my wife today. I'm like, you have no idea what is happening today. Because I always talk to her when I first had the idea of this podcast. I'm like, I want to bring traders on, and we haven't had one yet. And I'm just like, and my camera guy, he trades, and we talk about it all the time. And we want to do market episodes and stuff, and we haven't done a market episode yet. But here you are, and then she's like, what are the chances he's staying at the same spot you are? You walk downstairs and there's this live session going, because I'm up in my room trading. And I'm like, what? I'm like, this is
going downstairs.
Yeah. And then I called him right away.
Down.
Yeah, I called Joseph right away. I'm like, bro, you have no idea who's actually at this hotel right now. He's like, because we always try to figure out who's going to be here. I'm like, it's literally a day trading community downstairs.
Yeah.
Because he's sitting at home doing his thing. I'm sitting upstairs doing my thing. And here's this going down here. But it's so cool to see, man. So
I'd love to bring you guys, you guys are more than welcome to come trade with us, but bring the setup, come trade with us live. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll sit you down, we'll break down the markets.
4 a.m.
Yeah, can't say it, but I had everything set up right here.
Yeah, I saw it, yeah.
We're tearing it up. So
4 a.m. workout, 6:30 opens.
Yeah.
That's what I do at home. So
4 a.m. club.
So it'd be
baby.
nice
4 a.m. club.
4
baby,
a.m.
let's
club,
go.
man. It would be nice to meet a bunch of people that are on that 4 a.m. club.
Yeah.
I always tell my wife, I'm like, 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. is my time. That's my window before my son starts waking up.
Don't talk to me.
That's the exactly. I got to get
talk
the
to
workout in. I got to get the session in. I got to get my mind right.
Yeah.
But
and then I'll handle whatever you need, baby. I got you.
Because you got to make the money first, man. Especially when you're in the man in the house.
Especially with the fucking overhead the way it is now, dude. I got to put the dollars first, unfortunately.
100%.
Yeah.
Once again, bro, thank you so much.
Man, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
You mind if I do the sign off?
Let's do it.
Let's go. To the Prophets, aka Darren Keys, brand, fuck yeah, mood majestically big. And wait, what's the name of the podcast again? We got to get
check-in.
All right, we are here at the check-in, and you got to make sure you check in and don't check out, guys. We will see you on the next one. Thank you for having me.
Let's
Let's go.
My man.